Hi everyone, welcome to my studio tour. Before I begin the tour, I thought I would give a little history of how we got here. We lived in the suburbs of Virginia, about 45 minutes from here for 25 years. We really wanted to live in the country, so once our son moved out about 7 years ago, we started looking, but we could never find anything. Then after the housing market went through the roof, we decided it was a great time to sell. Besides, our house no longer served us well. It was just too much house for my husband and I. In 2022, our house finally sold, but now we had no house to move into, so we lived with my best friend for a few months. After searching for houses for weeks, we couldn't find anything. I said I was going to stop looking for a while, and then on a Friday morning, I said, let me just look one more time. And I came across the house we are now in. It's a 1909 farmhouse on 5 acres, and the listing pictures really showed it well. I begged my realtor to get me a viewing as soon as possible. I was so sure it was going to be my house, I was willing to make an offer on it sight unseen. My husband wasn't so sure, but long story short, we put in an offer and it was accepted, despite 4 other people putting offers in way more than us. So here we are. We've spent the last 2 years cleaning up the property that was long neglected, as well as remodeling the house. After a long summer of work around the property and on the exterior of the house, I declared no more projects. That was until I wanted to get back into my first passion, which is creating and making art. But my office didn't serve me well, so I needed to move things around. But before I did that, I decided to fix it up by fixing the ceiling, stripping the old paint, doing some brickwork, and painting the whole room. So now that I have it the way I want it, I can get to work creating again. So now I'll show you around. But before I do that, let me show you how the office looked before the remodel. The first picture here shows what was on the listing photos. There was a young couple that lived here for only a year, and this is how they had updated the room. The next 3 photos are from before them, which was when the house was owned by an older couple. And as you can tell, it's kind of got an older feel. Dark colors, wallpaper trim around the top. So it really needed an overhaul, and that's what the young couple did when they bought it. So now let's go into what I did with the room. This room has 4 amazing windows that bring in so much natural light during the day, which I love natural light. So in order to keep that brightness, I just went with a basic white color. It's called Santa's Beard. And then I painted the trim, which is kind of historically accurate for what these houses would do. They would paint the trim and the doors, sometimes even paint all the walls the same color. But I just wanted to do the trim. My favorite color is turquoise, so I really wanted to bring a pop into this room, which is very different for me, but I wanted to stretch myself. We also painted the ceiling white, and we're leaving the floors as is. This is the original floor to this house, so we just wanted to keep it that way. So we'll start on this side of the room. I currently work from home, so I need a dedicated space for my work setup. So I used my old IKEA desk that I had here, and as you can see, because of the pillar, I had to split the desk, so we had to cut it. And so now I have this dedicated nook for my workspace. I also took the other side of the desk and made this setup on a bookshelf that I had to hold my printer. This is just going to be temporary for now until I can figure out a more permanent solution. The sign right above the desk I had got online, and the painting to the left I made. These were at our old house as well, and they fit perfectly here in the nook. Again, the windows here in this office are just amazing. There's so much natural light. Looking out this window, you can see the front of the property, and this is where the light comes in the morning and most of the day. I'm currently trying to grow a plumera that my aunt from Hawaii sent me. We'll see how it goes with the progress. Next, we have this rack that I'm super excited about. I needed something to hold all of my art supplies, acrylics, watercolors, gel mediums, and I really wanted something that would fit on this wall right here. So I went out for a search on Facebook Marketplace, and I came across this antique baker's rack. It was a little bit of a splurge, but I think it was well worth it because it holds everything perfectly, and the shelves are even angled. So it works great for what I need here for my supplies. Next is my art table that I found at a yard sale years ago. On this table, I've got a spinning organizer that holds all my pens, pencils, scissors, and rulers. And I also have a vintage box that I just got at an antique market a few weeks ago that holds all my paint brushes and paint tools. I just love this table. I've made many projects on this. Next is my IKEA rolling carton. Who doesn't have one of these in their studio? It's a great catch-all for all of the overflow of supplies that I have. And next is basically my junk corner. This is overflow of where I have nowhere to store this stuff right now, so I've really got to figure out what I'm going to do with all this stuff. Next is my bookshelf that I've had for quite some time. This actually used to hold all of my art supplies at my old house, but since then I've had to get rid of those to house all my other items here, because in an old house you don't have a lot of space. The cubby right here my husband made for me to hold all of my paints, and the shelves hold all of my books and special mementos that I have of family and friends. Last is the door. I didn't get to paint this because I actually have to scrape the paint on the other side, and then I can paint the whole entire door together. So that's it for my studio tour. I hope you enjoyed this tour of my workspace and my studio space. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments section below, and I will see you again in the next video. Thanks for watching.